Okay, I just want to show you painting this tablecloth for this one. Just like any other object, you want to get a feel for what the color is by looking at it. How close is it to one thing or the other? This looks white. Your image, of course, would be closer to you. But it's actually, if it were white, it would be white like this. And you probably can't see on the screen, but it's not white. If I just take, because I'm going to take this brush here and put white down, it's not quite white like that. So what I've done is I said, well, how close is it? It's kind of somewhere not quite yellow, certainly not quite orange, somewhere in between. So I've mixed up some cadmium yellow medium, cadmium red light. I got that kind of yellowy orange, and I mixed that into the white to get the color closer to what it's supposed to be. So I can then lay down that color, again, getting rid of that edge. I'd like this to be, my strokes to be horizontal this way. They're laying on a horizontal surface. It's pretty much light as it gets to the back. We're going to darken it up a bit, so I can just keep reaching in here and mixing that into my white. I'm just going to go ahead with this large brush and clean up the edge of that area where that is to the cup. It's a little bit lighter in some areas. So again, you can see where I've refined the edge of where that cup was. I'm going to let that go right there for now. I'm going to come in, you can see it's lighter there in this area here. Again, not quite white, off-white. Remember, these objects here for the demonstration, these would have been, you would have completed those objects, right? I can see where there's light in and around that area on the tablecloth. So I'm going to put that down all the way to the edge. So here, you can see it's in shadow right here. So what I can do is, I've mixed up some cerulean blue and just tapped it into that yellow-orange to show where those shadows are. And while that paint was still wet, I'm using the same brush here. To mix that back and forth, you can see that shadow I'm going to take where it is darker in the back, while I still have some of that cerulean blue that, again, that I've mixed up with some of that orange, and I'm going to hit in the back here to show that's going into the back. And you can see here now I'm losing the dark edge that I had painted. Some lighter area there. Like that. Here we have shadow, here we have lighter. Let me just go ahead, while I'm still using the same brush, because I can push around these colors. Let's get in here, because there's some light that's poking there. You could use a smaller brush. I've just switched brushes. Like that. So here I'm just grabbing some of that, keeping it off-white. let that go there. Grab some of that blue that was there, in with some of that orange to make a kind of a gray. You can see where it's a little darker there. And I'm going to tap some of that. Again, across the color wheel, when you're dealing with an orange and a blue, you're going to get that kind of gray. If I wanted a little darker where I can see it's darker, I could even grab and then come back. Like that. And while I still have that dark color where I would have laid down that shadow there, the shadows that are along there, put that in there. I'm going to grab the large brush again, pull down that white, pick up some of that orange, and I can mix into these areas that I just put down while that paint is still wet. You can see I'm grabbing some of that because that shadow was kind of dark. And I kind of want to come in here just a little bit, get rid of some, and you can see there's not quite a lot of edges on that shadow. So you kind of want to soften those up with some wet paint. Kind of finesse it like that. And there we have completed the cloth that these things are on to get us even pretty much finishing up with the painting. Remember, these objects would have been painted already by you. This is part of the demonstration.